Hello my fellow Pirate Warriors and welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing the next mission guide for Go Adventuring on the Navy base, the third mission in the Yamato special log. Obviously we're going to continue using Yamato because this is his adventure, so let's get into it. Alright, as soon as the mission starts, there's going to be two main missions that spawn right away. The first one being Tashigi and then Kobe right afterwards, so immediately they drop two missions on you. So those are obviously part of your main objectives. You can beat Tashigi right away. It won't continue the search area if you want, if you don't want to yet. And we're just gonna wait until a little bit later, but so we're gonna leave Tashigi alive. The mission that people could miss here though, that I've missed actually a couple times, is actually if you walk through this path right here, they will basically set up an ambush for you. You just have to wait for the dialogue to keep going, but I believe as soon as you go through here or even start going through here, a bunch of Marines should pop up after all this stuff with the Kobe and Tashigi and all that stuff. Yeah, see right here, Marines appeared all at once. So it took a little bit because obviously the game is trying to catch up with all the dialogue and all the characters spawning in. So this is going to spawn in the first submission, which is to just, beat 300 Marines up within the time limit, which you have 2 minutes to do. Obviously, we're just going to speed through it, but obviously really easy, really simple. But remember, you have to walk through that area. It's basically their incentive to make sure you actually explore the entire map and search area, right? To actually make you feel like you're looking everywhere. So yeah, the first submission is right here, and will pop up as soon as Kobe and his dialogue is done, pretty much. So we're going to meet up with Kobe, and then we're just going to beat him up. Because I believe there's one mission that's kind of locked right now. It doesn't happen until a little bit later in this first section. So just beat up Kobe. Should be really easy. Obviously, this is meant for level 10s. So after you beat up Kobe, you're just going to want to run through here, and you see the giant Marine commander that appeared. He's going to pop up with another submission that's going to say to beat him with, I believe, 500 or 300 hits, like on the combo. So just gotta make sure you don't defeat the enemy until you get to 300 like we just did. And then we can just go ahead and beat him up. Another simple mission, but it's, good to know. So then after that mission is done, if you just run during this... Okay, we're just gonna power down. If you run during this path, you should be able to run into Garp in the next submission. Yep, Garp found Yamato. I mean, technically we found him because we were looking for him. But we found him. He's just, chilling out over here. So then you find him in this section as you see on the map. And then you just beat him up. Boom. Done. So after you beat Garp and Kobe and all of them, you're just going to want to run back to Tashigi and just beat her up pretty much. Because don't worry, if beating Tashigi up won't, progress the searches. So just beat her up. Then once you're done with that, I believe another character should spawn on the right hand side of the map that should actually progress and make another mission pop up. So after you beat Tashigi, a bunch of Marine commanders are going to spawn. Obviously don't beat them up just yet. There should be someone that spawns in rather soon here because obviously the dialogue is trying to catch up. So there you go. After you beat Tashigi and those commanders spawn in, you're basically going to do this, where you're going to have to fight Smoker on the right-hand side of the map. Which kind of makes sense, right? I mean, Tashigi and Smoker are obviously, they've been with each other for forever, so it kind of makes sense, and it's kind of wholesome that you basically have to beat Tashigi for Smoker to spawn. Okay, so now that we beat Smoker, I think that is pretty much it for this first section of the map. So you can go ahead and go to those, Marine commanders and actually just beat them up and then progress the search area to the next section of this special log. Alrighty, so that does it for this section of the map. Obviously, you can make your way to the top section of, this, Marine fort or whatever. So just go all the way up here, because the next section is basically this top section all the way right here. Right away, Kaku and Jabra are going to spawn in. But before we deal with them, you go to the right-hand side of the map. Again, let the dialogue just kind of play out naturally. Don't worry if they're not popping up right away. It's just that we're going so fast that the characters and all that, they have to get their dialogue pieces off that we just kind of have to wait. But yeah, so after they pop up, give Kaku and Jabra a beating. Yamato should mention that there was someone here that they, that Yamato thought that was there, but then disappeared. But because we were already here, Yamato's not going to say that, so Bluno's going to pop up here. Again, same as always, just give Bluno a beating. There you go, so Bluno is now beat up. You can progress towards the left because there's nothing else on the right-hand side. On your way, you can beat up Jobber, just leave one of them alive. Even though it won't progress it, I always, again, just as a habit, I just kind of leave one alive just in case, so I don't mess any, like, you know, order up or anything like that. Just in case something is timed to a specific area. So then as you walk into this section over here, Marines are going to appear at once, which is, again, kind of the same situation from earlier. They're going to try and ambush you again. This time you just got to beat a bunch of them up again. Again, the same thing with the time limit and all that stuff, so... you know, just kind of deal with them, and you should progress into the next mission. And then that completes that mission. So then what you're going to do is you're going to want to run up here. It should spawn a messenger. Again, as per usual, like, you know, just have to beat them up before they actually go to their, you know, marked destination. Boom. Done. Again, I hope I'm not going too fast for any of you watching. Obviously, I'm trying to just show you through the gameplay because a lot of this stuff is just kind of timed, and to save time and stuff like that, you know, these things basically are dialogued in time. So you kind of just have to wait a lot of the time for dialogue. But if you're already there and you're already at the section, then it's just going to start, right? So then obviously there's one more section on the map that we haven't checked, which is all the way over here. Which is, again, another situation where this one's a little bit repetitive, where a lot of the time it's just a bunch of ambushes, really. But, you know, you're going to get ambushed by a ton of, you know, Marine commanders and all that stuff, so you just have to beat them all up. And then just progress until the mission is done. Alright, and then that completes that one. We beat all the Marine commanders in this little section over here. So now we're just going to get rid of Kaku and then progress the story here, pretty much. Where it should spawn Lucci afterwards. And there goes Lucci. And that's it. So that does it for, I believe, this section here. So we're going to change the search area again to the final section. So in this section, Pacifistas, Fujitora, Kizuru, and a bunch of stuff are going to spawn in. Again, I believe you can just defeat both of them because this section is the final area of the map. So you don't have to worry about another search area, because after this, you're going to have to capture all the territories as a part of another mission. So if you run into Kizuru on your way into the area, then you may as well just beat him up. Especially because he's a Logia type and he's kind of annoying. So you may as well just beat him up quick. And you see right there, Yamato says there's a chill in the air. Is another ice user by. So what you're going to do is, now that we're down here, the first submission in this section is all the way in this little kind of like corner of the map. Obviously in the ice section, which kind of makes sense, right? So you go over here and then Aokiji should spawn, or Kuzan, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, he should spawn in, and all you have to do is just kind of just deal with him. Again, as per usual, just beat him up. Again, the same thing I mentioned in the other videos, the thing with time, I know people were saying that they've run out of time and, you know, a bunch of stuff like that, but the thing is like, when you're at a higher level and you start doing all these submissions that these missions were designed to do, you notice that we always have like way more time than we actually need. Obviously, the first time you may not know because you don't know where the missions are at, so you spend half your time looking in random areas. But now that you know where the stuff is at, these missions are obviously more easy, and obviously you can kind of cut them off and just kind of speed run them and get these extra times as well. So the next thing we're going to do is beat both of these Pacifistas up, because this will trigger the, you know, for the next subquest that'll pop up. Alright, so after beating both Pacifistas, 2 more should spawn in afterwards, and Yamato's going to make a comment about, like, you know, kind of like, what is it, like clone jutsu and all that stuff, kind of funny. Like, same thing you mentioned when it came to Brule and Luffy in the Whole Cake Island mission. Exactly, yeah, so Yamato thinks it's a technique. Also, if you notice, now we can actually capture the area. So now the next objective is to beat Sentomaru, but also to capture all these territories, right? So Sentomaru is going to be in this little corner over here. All I have to do is go over to Sentomaru and beat him up. Which, by the way, shout out to Sentomaru in the manga. Y'all know, y'all know. Alright, so now we beat Sentomaru. Now, I believe the last thing we gotta do is just beat Fujitora and then capture the territories. Alrighty, so now we beat all the bases. We captured everything. We beat Fujitora. So now what should happen is Akainu should spawn in up here. Yep. So again, as per usual, this should be the final boss of the stage, but because we did all the other submissions, there should be a little bonus extra at the end here. Okay, so you see here, we didn't end the mission because we did all the submissions, so Akainu is gone. I still love this little piece of dialogue. Ototo! Like, just the way Yamato says it. So now, see, for me, I was kind of hoping that like they would do some kind of time displacement thing, and like Ace and Whitebeard and maybe even Blackbeard would spawn in here. I know Blackbeard spawns in on the next map, like not as a post, but just as a final boss. But so basically here, you're basically fighting all the big dogs. You're fighting the former Fleet Admiral. You're fighting the Fleet Admiral. You're fighting Kizaru. You're fighting Fujitora. So this is the final section of this map. When you complete all the missions, then we one-shotted Kizaru and Fujitora, and we almost one-shotted all of them, to be honest. Just see if there's any unique dialogue. Obviously, there's not too much. So then we just do this and beat Sengoku up. And, oh, okay, well, just stop me. I guess we're just going to beat you in the stylish way with the Thunder Bagua. And that's it. And that does it for all the missions in this Marineford stage. It is kind of funny. It's like Yamato's just declaring dominance over all the Marines. I look really cool while like the little like defense and attack buffs like circling me, giving me all this cool aura. So yeah, that completes all the missions here, and you are able to get that little bonus like fight at the end. And obviously, by the time you finish it, you should obviously have more than 15k points and all that stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully you found this helpful. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 5k. Comment down below if you found this helpful, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.